Alright, so I made a video on this before, but I'm using a different format now and different video, which still sucks because I'm on my tablet, and it's because I'm a minimalist and I don't like spending money. So that's why it all sucks. But anyway, so I'm going to talk about right now food scarcity. Food scarcity and attack on Mother Earth. Okay, so typically government, whatever, behind the scenes kind of people, and their agenda is to have us in constant fear. Okay, now why they have this agenda, I'll touch up on a different video. You can go find a different video about it. So I'm not going to touch up on it here. And I'll probably be making some pretty soon about why they have certain agendas the way they have them. But assuming they do, okay, which they do, you know, it's apparent in society. I really don't want to have to go through and, you know, like try to. I don't even really want to explain it. I don't know how you don't notice, but some people really just don't see it. I don't know how. But food scarcity is always a big one. You always hear about starving kids this, starving kids that, and to me, it's pretty fucking old. And I need to talk about. I need to bring this one up. Okay, so food scarcity isn't even really real. Okay. The Earth can produce all sorts of food endlessly. Now, if we were to take a step back from all the small pictures and all of our little arguments and all of our little bullshit, and we were to stay and look at the big picture, okay? Set the big picture, okay? Big picture would be this, okay? Big picture is that you could fit the entire population of the world. This is actually a fact, okay? It's a fact. You can fit the entire population of the world, okay? No one excluded. Okay, I'm totally talking right now just about human population. Okay, we're not talking about all the animals, of course. Okay, we're talking about just human population. You could take all those families, let's say they're in a family setting, you could fit them in a house about the size of mine, and put them into the state of Texas and have everyone fit in there. That was actually a fact that was done. It's a fact that was put out there. So let alone the entire United States. Okay, you obviously be pretty crowded, but just think about that. Okay, think about this: South America next to deserted. Africa, next to deserted. Okay? Africa is actually pretty populated. Australia, deserted, pretty much. I mean, there's like nobody there, okay? People would argue all day, whatever. They're all right next to the water, okay? They're all right next to that water, and then the middle part is just like deserted, okay? There's places like that all over the earth. But yet, eugenics is pushed because people are thought that the world's overpopulated. This is not true at all. In fact, the Earth could sustain all of us. I think the Earth can sustain 4 times us. That's what I personally believe. The Earth, we came from the Earth, okay? See, part of the agenda of some of these people is they really want a sense of no natural grounding. They don't want people having a natural grounding, okay? They don't want people feeling their connectedness to the Earth. Okay, as you can tell by all of us, we all obviously are way far away from nature, and we don't really work with it. We have no sense of working with it, and that's a lot of the pharmaceutical hospitals. You know, they talk about this a lot. You know, about they don't talk about how we're away from nature. They talk about how that we need more of this, we need more of that, you need to be taking more pills. You know, we need to take more. You don't need any of it. It's all a joke. Okay, it's all really to make money. It's a business. The medical industry is a business, okay? Now, we're saying the big picture here. We're saying with big picture, okay? Big picture is that the world is not as inhabited as we would like to think. A lot of it's in big cities, which is very convenient for people who are tyrannical to control big cities if you're not out in the open or spread out. The population is much easier to control. And part of it is they don't want people thinking about how they want people thinking that there's always going to need to be more food. Okay, like they want people thinking that there's not as much food to sustain the population. Okay, when this is not even close to true, because sustaining the food population, or population with the food, has a lot to do with the farming techniques that are being used right now. Sorry, I kind of made that confusing there for a second, but what I'm trying to say is that this really pushes the whole GMO pesticide thing, conveniently, okay? Real convenient. When it's actually been proven, I've actually read a lot of articles lately about organic food and how organic food is actually able to be produced just as well as the other farms. A great movie that would also describe this, if someone wanted to go out and see GMO OMG. That was a really good documentary. I'm thinking about doing a documentary screening with that one. I keep thinking about that one. It might be a good one. And I really think, and the organic farmers were talking about this. They were saying how the population could totally be sustained on an organic diet. Now, as long as we're seeing the big picture here, let's move away from people with evil agendas. And start going toward people who have greed. Okay, so organic food is a huge industry. Organic food is a really big industry. Okay, you can see the raping they do around here of people for organic, fresh, raw, vegan, whatever kinds of foods. Another propagated thing is that it's cheaper to be doing. Essentially, it is cheaper to do GMO foods and stuff just because it just does the work for you. You don't really have to really maintain it at all. There's no realistic sense of we won't have food because of it. And a lot of the arguments for GMOs are pretty much based in fear. You know, most people's arguments that support anything that the government is pushing is usually based in fear. It's usually not based in any sort of expansive thought or any sort of thoughts of creativity, kind of like our oil situation. You know, if we were really looking at Tesla technology, of course, you know, we could probably be flying around in, you know, flying saucers ourselves. But no, the government likes to have oil. And then the argument is, well, you know, well, who's going to make it, whatever. You know, you always get the naysayers that just don't, they really just, you know, they're more interested in their small comforts. But continuing with big picture is that this stuff is completely sustainable. There's greed behind it. And there's a constant push to have food scarcity. Now, why? Okay, now let's think about what that kind of fear. Okay, so food is a necessity, you know, for the human being. For you know, anything that's like alive like us. Okay, you know, cattle need some sort of food. You know, a cat needs some sort of food. Now, there are three parts of the brain. Okay, there are three main parts of the brain: reptile, or the brain stem. Okay, and that's the original brain. Then there's the next part, the mammalian emotional type brain. And then there's the neocortex, and it's the human brain. We're the only creatures on Earth, from what we know, that actually have this, or what common science has told us, that actually has this kind of brain. Okay? Now, you can be operating in any one of those brains at all times. Okay, now neocortex is when the other two are being subdued. The higher brain. You need to have those other two parts of the brain subdued. Okay, they need to be coerced. Okay, reptile nature and mammalian nature needs to be coerced for the neocortex to work. And this is when you start getting into the pineal gland and stuff, the third eye. Okay, now talking about the reptile brain. Okay, reptile brain is the most basic. Okay, it is the oldest form of our brain that we know about. And it is the form of the brain that if you are someone in a tyrannical position, if you're someone who is in a business position, if you're someone who is in a banking kind of position, you would really like people to be in this part of the brain. It's the most important to have people in. It's all fear. When you're operating in a fight or flight situation, you are reptile. Sometimes people may feel like they do amazing things. You know, because you're operating completely out of fear. Physical basis. No higher thinking. Next to subconscious. Or is subconscious. I don't even really know if that is how, you know, the consciousness works with these parts of the brain. There's some other researchers who may know, but I do not know. But I know it's instantaneous. Okay. constantly the cocaine, the caffeine, this stuff. And I'm not saying that I don't participate in the drinking of caffeine products. It's just that a lot of it keeps you there. You know, I try to minimalize it. And I know I have a coworker who's really working on this right now, who's taking out the Red Bulls he used to drink every day, trying to get rid of them so he could improve himself. You know, because this stuff is keeping you like almost in an animalistic nature. They want you there. You're not doing. There's no higher thinking going on when you're in the reptile brain. Okay. Now, someone would say, well, what about mammalian brain? What about the mammalian brain? Okay, I can tell you. Okay, so that's the emotional side of the brain, and it's how you can emotionally convince people to do things, which is still out of fear. You could say, well, this could hurt your family, so you need to do this, or wouldn't want to see your kids, you know, go hungry, right? Just go ahead and keep doing it. You know, emotional factors. See, reptiles even lower, but see, this mammalian, they keep you in like kind of like the mammalian kind of brain, where you're being emotionally coerced pretty much by people. Now, when you start reaching into that neocortex, that high-level brain, okay, you can really start doing thinking. But those other two things need to be coerced, okay? That base fear, base survival, self-preservation fear, which still needs to be there. I mean, you can't just get rid of it, okay? You still need that nature. You know, some of these people out here talking about, no, you need to keep your base nature. It's kind of like the chakra system. If you were to think about the chakra system, which I'll probably make a video about this, but it's kind of like think of the reptile nature as like being the base or root chakra, okay? And then I would say let's use the anahata chakra, which I'll make a whole video about this so people can really dive as deep as they want into this stuff, okay? Anahata chakra would be like mammalian, and then third eye chakra, or the what's it called? Why can't I think of the name of the third eye chakra? Oh, Ajna chakra. Ajna chakra, yes. That would be like your neocortex, and then then you illuminate, you go crown chakra. So, which I'll make a video about all that. So, if you keep people in that square, actually, you know what? I'm going to change that. No, anahata would not be some people are probably watching, if you're watching this video right now and you have no idea what I'm talking about, I'll make a separate video about chakras. But if you already know, or if you've maybe seen that video, then you know what I'm talking about. I'd say sacral chakra would be more of the mammalian brain. Heart chakra has to do with transcendence. So I'm actually going to take that back. Okay? So I'm going to take that back. Anahata chakra would not be the mammalian brain. That'd actually be a higher level thinking, more closer to neocortex kind of brain. Okay, a transcendental thing. That was actually my mistake. But I'll explain that stuff later. So if you think about square, okay, square, it's imperfect. You see what I'm saying? We all know, some of us know about these things from the Fibonacci sequence, and it's very basic. And that's the reptilian brain. That's the root chakra. You're operating there. Root chakra-based consciousness is what you're working in. And they want you there, so there's no food. That's what the food scarcity is all about. Okay? Someone does not have the food that they need to survive, then you are operating in these parts of the brain, these lower parts of the brain. There's no neocortex working. Philosophical work, higher mathematics, spiritual, I'm trying to think, science, a lot of sciences too, a lot of the higher sciences too. You're not operating when you're in those lower two parts of the brain, that mammalian, that sacral and root chakra kind of brain. Okay, now people really need to leave this, and that's what I think. I think people really need to begin to move away from the root chakra thinking, the reptilian brain thinking. It needs to end. People are nervous. Well, what would happen if I didn't have a job? What if I wasn't able to make money? What if I don't eat? You know what I'm saying? And I feel like the more people that do that would start really making changes, especially at a younger age, especially people that don't have any kids yet. Yeah, don't have any children. Even if you're married, even if you get your wife involved, but or your husband. Sorry, that was kind of sexist. But anyway, so yeah, the food scarcity can really do that, and they want us to always be afraid of Mother Earth not being able to produce the amount. They want us to have some sort of disconnection towards the Earth, you know, the Gaia that holds us all. They want us to be uncomfortable with it. They don't want us here. You know, you see the movies Interstellar. They'll name cars Saturn, Mercury, to get your, because you know they know that you know subconsciously that you are on a prison planet, and that you are in some sort of system that you do not want to be part of, and they're feeding it. They're just feeding it, you know. So yeah. So I'm probably gonna make some more videos about that kind of stuff, and yeah.